Mademoiselle and ça c'est deuxième channel moi and jodi nous allons parler de Legliz, Lekol, Lakay. Now if you guys have watched this channel before, you guys already know what Legliz, Lekol, Lakay. Even if you're not Haitian, if you are Haitian, you already know what Legliz, Lekol, Lakay is. But if for whatever reason you're not Haitian and you've never come across this phrase before and you have no idea what I'm talking about, let me enlighten you. Legliz, Lekol, Lakay are the three main principles that Haitian people raise their kids on. It is the three core principles that they believe their children should live abide at all costs. Legliz, which is church, Lekol, which is school, Lakay, which is home. This means under no circumstances should their children have anything else to do with anything that falls out of these three places. Now, there's been so many jokes, memes, and everything else under the sun to depict these types of lifestyles. And to be honest, yeah, some of them are pretty damn funny. In my opinion, I feel like so many of them are played out. And I come from a household where my parents did not do this. And I am so happy my parents didn't, because growing up, I had so many friends that literally to this day are still traumatized by this whole Legliz, Lekol, Lakay type of philosophy, the 3 L's, okay? And to be honest, the only L's that I can see all of these people caught were trauma, mental abuse, and stifled growth. As many jokes as we crack about this, I think a lot of us can agree that growing up Haitian was very much so traumatizing. And as much as a lot of us love our culture and a lot of us love our parents even, we most likely should not, I would hope, and will not raise our kids the same exact way our parents raised us. Now, a lot of people, especially a lot of Haitians, poke fun at their upbringing, make jokes and memes and stuff. A lot of times it's harmless. But for me, I just personally think that if you have to poke fun at your race or make fun of your race or use your ethnicity or your race in order to be funny all the time, you're just not funny. That's just my personal opinion. You're allowed to have yours just like I'm allowed to have mine. For me, in my opinion, you have to be well-rounded in order to be funny. When it comes to the Haitian community, I feel like all they do is make Haitian jokes. They're not able to be funny outside of that. And when it comes to the whole Legliz, Lekol, Lakay thing, they stick to the same thing over and over again. And then the only way someone's able to come up in that field is to make jokes about the whole Legliz, Lekol, Lakay thing. The problem with this is when people who aren't Haitian come and they see these memes and it's explained to them, they're laughing, you know, they're joking about it. And sometimes they are funny, like some of them are fucking hilarious, you know, some of them, I come across them, I laugh, I like, I share, whatever. Not only is it redundant, but it's problematic. This is why Haitian parents are known as some of the most strictest parents you will know. This is why a lot of these kids are mentally struggling and will probably never get psychological help, because we keep telling them that there's something wrong with them. And of course, as I've said on this channel, oh, they need to pray it away, there's nothing wrong with them. And this is why a lot of people are literally suffering and we think it's funny. We make a joke out of everything and some things just aren't funny. This video is literally to highlight what's wrong with the whole Legliz, Lekol, Lakay problem and why, to be honest, we probably shouldn't be joking about it. The whole Legliz, Lekol, Lakay thing is pretty damn extreme. If you've ever had a Haitian friend, you would honestly understand where I'm coming from. I was one of those kids that my parents did not do this to me whatsoever, so I'm an outlier. And comment down below what type of Haitian kid you were. So Legliz, Lekol, Lakay means you do not do anything outside of literally going to church, going to school, and coming back home. No extracurricular activities. It doesn't matter if it's in school or church. Sometimes there's some parents that do wiggle room, but for the most part, there are no extracurricular activities. There is no fraternizing with your friends outside of school. So no sleepovers, no parties, no hanging out at the mall, no going to the movies, no outings. What are you talking about? You want to go to dinner with your friends? Hey, your friends. What is a friend? Your parents are your friends because maman ak papa pa bows on me. Translation, your mom and your dad did not give you friends, and they're very much so serious about this. And if for whatever reason you are allowed to have friends, they're only going to let you have these friends if they know who their parents are. God forbid they're not fucking Haitian. They're gonna be looking at you like, where'd you coming from with this American? Where did you meet this American? We don't trust Americans. We don't trust Spanish people. We don't trust Chinese people. To be honest, Haitians are some of the most discriminatory people I've ever met in my life. For people that are always being discriminated against, some of them can be very fucked up when it comes to other races and ethnicities of people. But what I'm saying is, a lot of Haitian kids grow up ridiculously isolated because of this. Oh, I'm not done yet. This also means no jobs. A lot of Haitian parents will not let their kids work because they want them focused on school and church and staying at home. If you get a job, this means you cannot stay focused. You're not going to church. You know why? Because they're gonna want you to work. Why would you want a job? You can't work. You're not gonna be able to keep up with your grades. And if you do end up getting a job, no, you're gonna have to give some of your parents some money, because that means, oh, you're grown now. Or it probably means, oh, you probably have a boyfriend. Oh, you have a girlfriend. Oh, well, you think that you're about to leave this house? Well, they're probably gonna start talking all this shit to you, and they're probably gonna think that you think that you're gonna move out soon, and it's gonna subject you to all types of fucking bullying by your parents. Kid you not, I had to beg my parents to get a job, and they literally finally let me get a job when I was 15. It was at my family practice, and I wasn't able to leave till I was like fucking 25. Thank God for the panoramic, okay? As much as the bad things happened with the panoramic, I will say that it was finally one of those things where I was like, oh my God, thank God I could leave. But also, it was a very interesting dynamic. Like, my family doctor was also like another mom to me, so it was a little different. That's a whole nother story for a whole nother time. For those of you guys who know me personally, you know, and there's probably a lot of people that's come across this video who have seen me at the doctor's office. It's a very, you know, popular doctor among the Haitian community, so it's very different. So that's the type of shit I'm coming from, where I talk about that. Like, there's a lot of Haitian parents that just don't want their kids out in the work field early, so they feel like their kids should only work like when they get to college, not in high school. Ha 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 ha. Dating? What's dating? You talk about you want a boyfriend, you want a girlfriend. That does not no, I don't even need to go down that lane. There is no contact of any kind with the opposite sex when you are living in a Haitian household, because more than likely you're gonna get a sandal thrown at the side of your head. Because do I have to explain this? I feel like this one is self-explanatory, okay? So as you guys can understand, lots of Haitian children grew up under lots of duress from their Haitian parents, because they're not allowed to do anything without their Haitian parents looming over them and reminding them they can't do anything outside of going home, outside of going to school, outside of going to church. Although so many people have made this into a joke, like I said, it's toxic and it's not funny. It's just really, really extreme to expect your children or even your adult children to live this way, because a lot of this trickles into our adult lives. And I don't think anyone really understands how bad this is until they've grown up and they're trying to go out on dates. Or like my favorite, when they sat here and they sheltered you for so long and you graduated and they sit there like, oh, where's your husband? Oh, where's your boyfriend? And it's like, what? You told me to not talk to boys my whole life. Now you talk about, so where's my boyfriend? Where's my husband? Y'all be tripping, bro. And what really makes me more mad are the parents that strictly only treat their girls this way. There's a lot of Haitian parents that literally will treat all their kids this way, but there's too many that only treat their girls this way. I've seen a lot of Haitian parents that will have, like, say 3 boys and then 1 girl, and the girl will be the only one that has to live to these types of standards. Meanwhile, they sons is running buck wild in the world. And it's like, how the fuck does that make any sense, and how the hell is that fair? The sexism in the Haitian community is very disgusting and ridiculous. The sexism in the world is just really annoying. And one of the very annoying topics that I really, really can't stand, and that I touch on a lot both on this channel and my other channel, is how people need to treat their sons and daughters the same in order for the world to be a better place. You cannot raise your daughters one way and then raise your sons another way and then complain about the outcome later. You can't treat them differently living in the same household. It's just unfair, and it's very, very biased. It's fucked up. Like, if you're gonna be strict with the girl, you have to be strict with the boy. If you're gonna be loose with the boy, you gotta be loose with the girl. You can't be talking about some, oh, the girl gotta come home at 9 p.m. and then the boy gets a curfew of 2 a.m. What the fuck? Why are you even letting your kids come home at 2 a.m. in the first place? It's just unsafe on all grounds. But if you do one to the other, you have to treat the other one fairly. Bottom line, I think we can all agree it is not conducive to raise kids under the principle that they can't do anything outside of going to 3 fucking places. It doesn't make fucking sense. And we're just gonna run through these 3 places. And of course, we gonna start with my favorite place, which is Legliz. You guys already know one of my most viewed videos, once upon a time, I don't think it's my most viewed video anymore, is Legliz, aka church. Now, when it comes to church, a lot of people are very, very holier than thou in church. They're very much so, church will solve all your problems. If you pray it away, it will go away. If you pray, the Lord will give you all your answers. However, I am one of those people that believes that a lot of people who are in church, especially when it comes to Haitians, have never challenged their beliefs. They just believe in the church that they go to because someone told them to. And I believe that when we are adults, we always have to question why we believe what we believe in. If you do not question yourself, if you do not question what you've been told should not be questioned, you are literally a hypocrite. Yes, I said what I said. Why should anyone else believe you when they say that that's what you believe in? You have to be able to walk in a faith that you know can be questioned, that you know can be challenged within yourself, that you know that you believe in wholeheartedly because you believe it. Because sometimes we just regurgitate information that's been given to us. And when it comes to churches, whether it's Protestant, Catholic, Jehovah, whatever, churches can be a cesspool for very horrible breeding grounds for bullying, hypocrisy, and my favorite, piety. Piety is literally the false worship, okay? The false worshiping, people that be acting like they literally in church to act like they doing something, but they ain't doing nothing at all. I've always said it, and my mom actually got really upset at me, and she be alright, but she know I was right. I was like, the only people that you find in church are people that are old because they know they're gonna die, so they're trying to save themselves from all the sin that they've done. Young people because they have no choice, and bad people because they know they've done fuck shit and they're trying to find forgiveness. Am I right or am I right? Let's be real. I believe in belief systems. I'm spiritual in there's a God, there's a higher being. There might be multiple, right? I don't like the institutions of church. I think a lot of it is toxic because a lot of people there are horrible people. I don't like the idea of having my children around horrible people with all of the pedophilia, all the stealing of money, all of the crazy things that go there. And to be honest, I can say some of the worst people I've met were in church. A lot of the drama I've ever been in as a child was in church. I don't want my child subjected to that. And then it just never occurred to me how the pastor has a better house and a better car than me, but doesn't have a job besides the church. I don't like the idea that any bit of the church money will go into a pastor's pocket. It doesn't sit right with me whatsoever. At least with a Catholic church, I know that they're not allowed to have possessions. If that's something you guys did not know, now you know. They're not allowed to have possessions. They literally are poor nuns. Everybody in a congregation of a church cannot have possessions. If you see them driving a car and everything, the church actually gives that to them in terms of Vatican and everything else. Like, money is dispersed equally, and if you give donations to the church and everything like that, they do not see it. Nuns that are teachers and everything, their salary goes directly to the church. So at least I know that. But again, touching kids and stuff, priests have a very long history of that. Not saying that all of them do that, but you guys understand where I'm coming from. I don't understand how people could still sit here and vouch for it. I don't understand how people could still sit here and be like, oh well, I want my kids in church, and that's what's gonna make them a good person. What's gonna make your kids a good person is you actually sitting there spending time with them, and not just sitting there throwing them in church hoping and praying that hoping and praying is going to make them a better person. There's too much going on for you guys to just think that you could just force your kids to be somewhere that's not conducive to them and think that that's all you have to do. And of course, that goes to my next one, Lekol, aka school. Stop forcing your kids to go to school. I am a proud advocate of education. I have a bachelor's and I have a master's. I love school. I actually think about going back to school because I'm fucking crazy. As much as I wanted to drop out of school when I was getting my master's, I still want to go back for a second master's sometimes. Sometimes I'm like, shit, I kind of want a doctorate. I entertain the idea. But you need to stop forcing your kids to go to school. Haiti is a country that is scarce, okay, when it comes to education. It is very hard to get an education because education is not available to a lot of people. And when education is available, it is taxed. really badly in terms of it is very, very expensive. It is very, very hard to get uniforms. It is very hard to even get to the schools because they're so far away. They're so out of the way, I'm telling you. So when an immigrant comes here and they have children, their priority is to get their kids in school. So I can't really fault many Haitian people when they're like, oh my God, my kid has to be in school. They have to get the best grades. They have to be the best opportunities to be the best place in life. You come here and you have all the opportunities at your fingertips. It kind of is a slap in the face when you don't do it. I completely understand. But at the same time, you cannot force someone to do something that they do not want to do. And this is the problem here, right? With all the opportunities in America, it does suck when people don't take advantage of them. I will say that. And I do feel like American born citizens, shit, even this is even me, we do not take advantage of all of our opportunities. A lot of us can be doing 10 times more. Sometimes I wake up and I'm like, yeah, I could be doing so much more, and we do not take that opportunity. It could be laziness, it could be ignorance, because a lot of us, you know, instead of doing more, we sitting there scrolling on Instagram, scrolling on TikTok, scrolling on Twitter, instead of looking up how to better our opportunities, save on taxes, and, you know, build wealth. There's so many things we could be doing, but we don't do it. And a lot of it for Haitians is education. A lot of us, you know, we don't further our education, and Haitians really, really hate that. That is something that they loathe. You can hate it all you want, but if your kid doesn't want to go to school, they're not going to finish. If you sat there and made your kids go to school so much to the point where when they were throwing up, you still sat there and made them go. When they were sick, you did not give a fuck and you told them they still had to go. When they literally had to go to dance, they asked you to go to the school dance and you didn't let them go. They had friends that were inviting them to things and you didn't let them go. Whatever the case may be, did it not occur to you that at that point they hate school because you made it miserable to them? You see, your kids aren't like these other kids. They're not going to sleepovers, they're not going to parties, they're not even going to the fucking supervised school dances. So they're not like these other kids. So you can't make that excuse. You sheltered your kids their entire school lives. They didn't have a social life, right? So page moun ki gate yo. You got to, okay? You made their school experience miserable. You beat the shit out of them when they couldn't do their homework. You made sure they didn't have a social life. You made them hate every aspect of school. So of course, when they have the decision to go get a higher education, and it's a choice now, it's not one of those things where they kind of legally have to be there. They're gonna be like, hell no, I don't want to go. You made your kids hate school. That's why so many Haitians don't have degrees. Let them do extracurriculars, and that was me. My parents did that. My parents kind of let me do what I wanted, especially when it came to extracurriculars. I would have loved if my parents actually came to my shows, but they didn't, and that's one thing I will always kind of hold against them, but they never stopped me from doing anything. The next one definitely has to be home. With all of the shit that I just mentioned, let's be real. Why does it make sense to put your kid in the imprisonment of the home and literally tell them they can't do anything outside of those things and then just be like, yeah, your only choice is home after that? It's just so toxic. You are causing your child to be sheltered and dependent on you, which causes them to be very insecure, undiagnosed mental health issues that you end up calling them demonic for. And what does that do? Circle us right back to, you need to go to church. You need to go to school. You fell off. And by the time this happens, what? They're 18, right? 18, 19, 20. And what do? These parents start to blame you and they start to say that, oh, it's because now you're older now, you start making your own decisions, you start hanging out with your friends, you started this, that, and the third. That's why you acting this way. I've seen this happen too many times. Literally, this is the story of too many people. And it needs to stop. Okay, let's be real. Haitian parents, a lot of y'all think of y'all kids as a retirement fund. That could be a video in itself. Y'all want that shit? Comment down below. A lot of you guys, y'all don't got no damn savings. Y'all don't got no damn retirement save. A lot of you guys are probably not even here legally. Oops. So with that information at hand, if you're stopping your kids from doing extracurriculars, imagine your kid could probably be the next Michael Jordan. You know, the next big thing. The next big thing in sports even. Why would you stop your kid from doing something that they can potentially love and then generate into either income as a professional pro athlete or go to college for? When they're able to do these things professionally, they can literally get full-blown scholarships. the opportunity that you're taking away from your kid is far greater than any of that. Sports especially build character. Sports are amazing for children. They build leadership. They create friends. They gain other adults in their lives that can be so valuable to them as assets, as business commodities even, that honestly become second sets of parents to them. So it's like, why would you want to deter them? Stopping your kid from working is ridiculous, because what's gonna happen is, unless you're one of those parents that just really want your kid to be reliant on you, you're going to end up having a big ass child. They're going to look for you to do everything for them. They're gonna act like they can't do anything for themselves ever. Kids should develop a sense of responsibility in high school, okay? Whether it's a job, some sort of volunteering, something. And of course, the biggest one, stopping your kids from dating as adults is problematic. You cannot be sitting there telling your fucking 23-year-old to not date. And the fact that anybody who's watching this right now is over the age of 21 and listening to their damn parents talk about some don't date, get it together. Get it together. You're grown. The problem with this is it stifles you so badly you do not even understand. Especially for women, I'm telling you, you should never, ever, 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 I'm saying this again, never wait to date. This sounds crazy, but because what's gonna happen is, by the time you're 25 and you go to your first boyfriend and you're like, yeah, I've never had a boyfriend, that man is probably gonna use everything in his fiber to run game on you. I've seen it happen. It happens too many times. And for a lot of women, they think, oh, well, he's gonna respect me more, he's gonna treat me better. Listen, the streets is not safe. These men are not cute, okay? They're not cute no more. A lot of that whole chivalry is dead. Luckily, my man is not like that. He's the type of man that really actually appreciates that type of stuff. But a lot of men, they don't give a fuck. As soon as they see a damsel that's like that, they take that opportunity to crush her. Whether you are a teenager or adult, you need to be able to stand up to your parents and tell them that you're not doing whatever it is that you're not comfortable doing. Of course, you don't have to be rude, but you need to be able to say, I want to do this, or I'm not doing that, or your mental state is going to suffer. Make sure you guys comment down below what you thought about this video. What are things that you had to go through with your Haitian parents? What did you tell them? How did you deal with it? Because it's a lot. This could probably be a whole fucking series. Like, Haitian parents are just a different type of breed of stubborn, and this is something that just needs to be discussed, and I wish a lot of people would talk about these things instead of sweeping it under the rug. With that being said, make sure you guys like, share, subscribe, do all that, and I'm gonna see y'all next time. Bye!